Hello, welcome back to the YouTube channel. Mfjj here with podiumarcher.com, looking at the Nexlite 33 from Xpedition. It's our first year carrying these bows, and they will be actually available on the website. But I don't want you to buy it from me. I want you to look at their dealer locator on their website, crash their website today, and find out where your nearest dealer is, and go buy it from him. Don't buy it from me. Please, for the love of God. That's a relationship that you need to work on to have a good long-term archery lifestyle. Hey, you! Yeah, you! Jeff just told me a statistic that makes me very, very sad. 60 to 70% of you are not subscribed to our channel. Now here's the deal. I'm going to incentivize you. You ready for it? If we can get to 100K by the end of the year, which isn't impossible, the coupon code for MFJJ will give you 15% off for all of January. Everything you could possibly want that's allowed to be discounted. We'll give you a 15% off for the whole month. If we get to 100K by New Year's, please share it. Get your friends involved. Get us to 100, you'll get more money off. Please don't buy it from me. If you're going to buy it online, and only if you're going to buy it online, podiumarcher.com for all those archery needs. $99 and up is free shipping, and coupon code MFJJ may save you a little money. These bows are pretty awesome. One, they're light. They're magnesium. It's a word that's getting thrown around a lot these days, or it's magnite. So it's like magnesium with, I think it was silicone particles or something bonded to it. There's a way better explanation about what that is on the podcast that is out there on YouTube right now on Xpedition. The engineer explains it a lot better than I ever could, so I'm not even going to bother trying. Go back and watch that podcast. Really good. All right, so this bow has a new adjustment system for tuning it without a bow press. These are shims that bolt to the back of the limb rather than going over the axle assembly. So you pull the screws out of the back, loosen the screws up on the side first. Sorry about that. And you can remove these, and they are indented in the back, indicating which one's 1, 2, and 3. Ones go with ones, threes go with threes, and they go on the left and the right. And it effectively moves the cam without having to put it in a press. So we are still dealing with a small, medium, and a large movement as opposed to a precise movement, but it's an improvement for sure over the standard spacer system, and it made it pretty easy. It's a creative way to get around it, and I think it's probably the easiest. The 220 PSE system is probably real similar on how long it would take you to change it out, but you are supposed to press the PSE system. I don't think you have to press this system if I remember right, which is cool. Standard split yoke system wrapping around the cam just like everybody else is making now. It's almost like that's just the best way to do it, so everybody kind of copies it since there's no longer a patent issued on it, if I remember correct. We have a $15.99 price tag for a 3 3/4 pound 33-inch axle-to-axle bow. That's light, and that's reasonable when you're talking about weight. One of the other nice things about magnesium as an option is it's fully machinable, so you're not trying to insert metal pieces inside of another material, i.e. carbon. So it's a really neat alternative option. This riser is still relatively beefy for what it weighs too, which is pretty incredible. 33 axle to axle, 6 3/8 inch brace height, draw length spectrum's 24.5 to 31, although there are some individual module changes in there to get to that point, just so you know. Once again, $15.99 price tag, 50-pound peak, 60-pound peak, 65-pound peak, 70-pound peak, and 80-pound peak. All options for you there. And we're looking at roughly a 332 foot per second for the speed. Front mount integration, rear mount integration, quiver attachments for a 2-piece quiver, not an integratable V-bar, multiple stabilizer attachments, front and rear options. Like, they're covering most of the boxes and checking most of the boxes, and because of that, we've decided to carry them, which we haven't carried them in the past. Let's measure some of this stuff and see what we get. Okay, so we're going to be, this is interesting. So probably the screw here, left side of the screw, left side of the screw. Here we go. So this is a little shy of 33. In fact, it's 32 and 7/8, so it's an eighth shy. Riser length. Looks like 31 inches on the riser length. Looks like a titch over 1.5 inches reflex. Not terrible, not terrible. Okay, so we're measuring out right at 4, bouncing up to 4.1, stabilizing at 4.1, and we're looking for 3.75, and we give 0.2 for that. So I'd say it's a little heavy. Now, granted, you could unbolt these other dampeners and those dampeners, which I am sure they're considering that in that. And I'm willing to bet if you unscrewed these, which these do come off, I'll just unscrew them. Just another dampener. I think they're not counting any riser dampeners. Oops. If that drops down to 4, then we've probably got an accurate weight here. Oh, damn it. Oh, yep. Okay. All right. I would say this thing is 3.75 without the dampeners and stuff on it, though obviously you're going to leave these on because they do absorb vibration and noise, but we'll call it right. We'll call it accurate. Yeah, that's not on 30, dude. That's perfect.
Nice work.
Let's go. Well, guys, we did this entire video. Mind you, we're getting these bows quite early now, so we try to get started early. And the byproduct of that is sometimes they're not 100% complete, or we come across some things that catch the manufacturer a little off guard. And in the instance of this bow, we measured it, and it was draw length was short, like significantly. And so I gave them a call and let them know what we found and the results we found, and asked them, are you sure you've got your draw length spectrum set right? You want to reassess it. And they made the decision on both this and the 30 to reassess their original measurements and their original draw lengths. So this bow now goes to 30.5, not 31, and it starts at 24, not 24.5. And the Nexlite goes to the Nexlite 30 goes to 30, not 30.25. You'll probably never actually see those numbers. They should have that corrected by the time they launch it, but that's what was on the limbs when we started. So in the instance of the Nexlite 30, we already were treating it like a 30-inch bow, even if it said 30.25 on it. So we're not going to reshoot that because we're not changing the draw length settings because that's where we had it set to begin with. So you have your speeds on that bow. It's 30, right? Not 30.25. This was off enough that we had to reset the draw length settings and shoot it again. So all the speeds that we shot, you're never going to see any of that, but we went all the way through this, deleting all that out, reshooting the speeds, because at the end of the day, we want the most accurate information for you as quickly as possible and as soon as possible so you can make that decision quicker. So we're ready to go shoot this bow. All right, we have the Nexlite 33, 70 pounds, 30 inches, 350 grain arrow at what now is 30 inches. It's technically a little over it, but what's what we're going for 30 inches now. So here we go. Oh, first pull in the morning. Oh. All right, that's 328, 323. So we'll go 326, 326. 325. Back up to 327 for our average. All right, let's shoot some 450s. I know not everybody can afford a brand new bow. That's why I created the used bow platform that we put on podiumarcher.com. Go to the bow category, click the drop-down menu, and pick out used bows. There's also a trade-ins portion in there. We do a national trade-in program for anybody in the country can ship in your bow. We inspect it, ensure that nothing's broken or defective, give you a credit for podiumarcher.com, and then we recertify that bow, go through it, put new strings and cables on it, guarantee its condition, and ship it back out to the next person who wants to buy it. All available at podiumarcher.com. And for you shops out there that got some dead inventory, you can trade that in too. Just let me know. $290. That's the first one. $289. If I pause sometimes, it's because I'm trying to do math in my head. 289. All right, let's try some adult arrow wrench fairy approved arrows at 650 grains. 245. Still give that a 245 average. Now we're going to set this down to 29 inches so you can get an inch-by-inch comparison of speed loss so you can figure out what this will shoot at your draw length.
What was the last one?
29 inches, 70 pounds, and a 450 grain arrow. Get your draw length differences on speed loss. 278. Still 278. I'll give you one more, and then we're going to set this down to 65 pounds because that's what we're calling the realistic arrow speed. What is realistic arrow speed? 65 pounds, 29 inches, 450 grain arrow. It's the average guy's setup. I would like bow manufacturers to start marketing this and advertising this if it's possible, because I want the average guy to see a speed he's actually going to achieve, not some fictitious number that there's no way. Not fictitious, but a configuration that no one's going to use, or almost no one's going to use. I'd like to see something normal. 278. All right, I'll change her to 65. One. All right, we are now down to the realistic arrow speed. 65 pounds, 29 inches, 450 grain arrow. Here we go. 269. 269. 272, so 269. We can call it 270 on that one. And we'll go do some math for you.
81.
Okay. Looks like we got 80.5 average on the decibels. It's actually pretty quiet on the things we've tested so far. It's got a lot more to test still. Put her in the Torquematic 5000 and see what it does. All right, Torquematic 5000. Try to get that relatively level. It looks pretty close. Here we go. Once again, this doesn't count towards the score. It's just something we're playing with. You step back. 5.4. 5.4. Oh, is that a rounded grip? Looks like kind of like a rounded grip. Interesting. Oh, shoot. 0.
That's good.
Yeah, that's terrible. You want it to rank. I didn't get it in the groove or something. 4.13. So basically 5. And 5. So 5. It's a good number. That's impressive. All right. So we got right around 5 pounds on the Torquematic 5000, which is surprisingly good. And it did have a bit of a rounded grip. It's still got a square edge to it, but there is a contour to it. So the argument of a rounded grip's going to score worse, I don't know about that. But let's see here. And our realistic arrow speed was 264, 274 on the comparable. That was a 7 foot a second difference. So you should lose about 7 feet a second per inch on your adjustments down. So let's see what we get here on speed. So it was 332. We got 318. That's what? 14 feet off? Yeah. Not as bad as I thought it was. That's an 8 for speed. Weight was 3.75 pounds. That's an 8 for weight. Tunability. The system's better than it was. There's nothing for timing. And the fact that it looks like you don't need to put it into a press to do it, I'll give you a 7 on tunability. I wish it was a little more individually precise for each movement, but it's an improvement over a standard spacer, and you don't have to press it to do it. Integration and features. Okay, so we got a quiver attachment. You got front mount pick, which is actually cut into the metal, not bolted on. I do like that because it actually makes it not add weight to do it, which is cool. Rear mount IMS. There's not a V-bar bracket. There are multiple places to put it on a stabilizer, lower, upper. They do make limb leg options, which is pretty cool. Integration and features, I'm going to give you 7. Honesty. All right, well, ATA was an 1/8 shy. Not a really big deal. Brace height was right on. Weight was right on. Draw length was spot on, which is great. But your speed is more than 10. It's 14 feet shy. So I'll give you a 10 on honesty, but you're way more than, I mean, every other measurement was accurate. Said that one. So I'll give you a 10. Feel, the bow actually has a little bit of flex in the riser after the shot, so you do notice that. The grip isn't terribly uncomfortable for a plastic-based grip. I'll give you a 7 for feel. Design, magnesium cut bows is pretty exciting to me. I've said it a few different times. I do think this is probably the direction everything's going to go in the long run because it is a machined product and everybody has machinery for it. That being said, they have a specific patent on their version of it. Design-wise, I will give you a 7. Value. Okay, here's where this gets interesting. 3.75 pounds, 33-inch axle-to-axle bow. Who else is doing that? Maybe one other company, maybe. And at $15.99, which the more I'm seeing the numbers as we go this year, the more I'm seeing that it's an aluminum bow price. We're really close to it, depending on whose brand you're looking at. So value, I have a hard time not giving you a 5, honestly. Sound, 80.5 is pretty low. I'm going to give you a 4. We haven't seen anything in the 70s this year. Last year we had 1 or 2 in the 70s. So I think that's going to be near the bottom of the noise that bows put out today. Appeal. Aesthetically, it's not my favorite look, honestly, but there's a lot of appealing things going on there. A lot of good integration. I'll give you a 3 for appeal. Okay, so we're redoing this video, so this is going to cut and splice a little bit if it doesn't flow perfectly. After we found the measurements of what was out there, we contacted Xpedition, told them the numbers we got, said you might want to go back and check your stuff and try to assess if you want to change what you're calling your draw lengths. And they made the decision to do that. So because of that, we had to reshoot all the speeds because we had the bows set at the wrong length. That's what it boils down to on the 33. So we're getting your final numbers here to see what the reward is. Okay, we got 327 IBO, had an 11 foot a second speed drop, inch to inch. So that, equate that back down as you go through the draw lengths to figure out what your draw length speed would be on a 450. So 327 speed is 10. So basically all the other numbers are the same. That's the only thing that changed. So we'll add these up and see what you get. 68. Do that right? Yeah. For not an immense amount, some decent integration, but not like all of the stuff. Tunability, you know, there's features you could add to that for sure. And there are things that you're going to get with a magnesium bow that are going to look a little different and give you a different effect. However, a 3.75 pound bow, 3.75, dude, like 33, $15.99.
What's the second lightest?
What do you mean the second lightest?
Like what's the
Next closest?
Yeah.
PSE carbon, probably, which is getting you right to that 4 pound mark. Yeah. And I know Truth makes one that I think is similar weight, if I remember right. But yeah, if you want really light, there's nothing lighter than the magnesium construction risers out there. There just isn't. So definitely something to look at. And these will be available on the website. But if you got a local dealer, go buy it from him, not me. Please. Thank you.